What's up, y'all? I'm Jalen.
And I'm Jada.
And thanks for tuning in to another episode of We Out Here. Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2.
Yeah, we back.
We back in this thing. Okay, we're talking about relationships. Last episode, we introduced the season topic, just talking about our definition of relationships and how they change over time, how we think we present ourselves in relationships. And we asked y'all, how do y'all present yourselves in relationships?
Right. And what did y'all say?
Cricky, 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 cricky. Nothing, because follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, okay? We're streaming on all platforms, y'all. So I know y'all heard us when we said follow us on Twitter and answer the questions.
Instagram. Check out the YouTube channel. We got some videos up.
We out here.
We out here all around.
All around. All around, up and down. Over the bridge, under the bridge, okay? You can follow us.
Right.
And answer the question. But that's besides the point, because I know y'all going to answer them after this episode so that we can talk about it and have a conversation. All right. Now that we off that soapbox, this episode, we talking about family relationships. Family relationships.
I got you. So let's start by defining what a family is.
Mm-hmm.
I got my little dictionary here. Webster's New World Dictionary. You know, last time it wasn't giving us much.
Using the word in the definition and whatnot.
Yeah, so in family, number 1, parents and their children. Okay. Number 2, relatives. Number 3, okay, all those destined from a common ancestor, lineage. Number 4, a group of similar or related things.
Okay. Like a dog family.
Right. That's what we got for family.
Or a family for like science when you're talking about naming species.
Right.
Okay. I really enjoyed the different lineages.
All those descended from a common ancestor.
Common ancestor lineage. Yeah, I like that one. Because anybody could be my family. But the first 2 definitions in that dictionary is basically that family isn't chosen.
Right.
And that's kind of my definition of family, is those that you don't choose to be connected with, but you're born into that connection.
Yeah.
And I also feel like family for me is defined as a group of people who are there to love and support you, and you are loving and supporting them back. And it's a, what do you call it?
I know what you're saying. The word, I don't know.
Symbiotic? Nah,
that's not the
word close. But that's not, they mean the same thing, but that's not what I was saying. It's a healthy relationship, and everybody is here for one another. Sometimes you might not like your family, but you always love your family. Some people might have, different feelings, about that definition there. Jada, what do you think? Like the definition of family.
Yeah, well, I agree on that's what family should be. I agree on what you're saying all around. That's what it should be.
Mm-hmm.
You're born into this, and it's the community that you're born into that is meant to support you and help you grow. And it's basically, blood. That's your family.
Yeah.
It's not a very long definition. Unfortunately, I don't put too much on family. If we're talking about the lineage ancestor family, because my family is not that close, so it's kind of hard to put a lot on it. And the ones that we are kind of close with, the very few, it's still on a surface level kind of thing.
So tell me about your, like, explain to us your, like, family dynamics. Like, where are you in the lineage? You know what I mean? You have brothers, sisters.
Oh, okay.
You firstborn.
I got you. Immediate family. I got my mom, my dad. Mom and dad are not together. So we'll split it up. My mom's side, okay, hold on. It's funny because people would be like, were you an only child growing up? Blah, 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 blah. On my mom's side, yes, I was the only child growing up. But we lived with my grandmother for a short period of time. And in that household, I grew up with my two cousins. So I was like the middle child.
Yeah.
But all in all, on my mom's side, I was the only child until I was 17, went away to college, and then my brother was born. So now I'm the oldest, but it's like weird because I'm not in the house. On my dad's side, I have an older brother, but I only was with my dad summer and Christmas. So, yeah. And then I have step parents on both sides. I have a stepdad and a stepmom. Oh, getting too far away. I had a stepdad and a stepmom. So those are like the two immediate family things. And then, I got the grandparents. My mom's side knew both my grandparents. My dad's side only knew my grandmom. My mom has two sisters. My dad has a sister and a brother. And they have their own families. Definitely closer to my mom's side of the family, just because I was there pretty much year-round aside from summertime. And yeah. Okay. That's pretty much the gist of it. Your turn.
So we pretty much have the opposite. So my parents are still together, but they got married when I was 7. So I did grow up the majority, like the main important part of my life as an only child. I was almost 8 when my brother was born. He was born in December and my birthday's in January. So he came quick. He came right after that wedding. And then I have a sister who's a year and a half younger than him. So I'm the oldest. My mom is an only child and my dad has a brother. And his brother is married with a daughter. So I have one official cousin that's like my cousin. Now, my grandparents, all 3 of them, I mean, I technically have 4. My mom, I know my grandmother and my grandfather. My grandmother, there's 5 of them total. And she's like somewhere in the middle. And then my grandfather, there's 7 of them total. No, I'm lying. There's 5 of them total. Okay. And he's the second oldest. Of my grandparents' family on my mom's side, they're the only siblings that only have one child. Everybody else got 3, 4, 5, 6, and then their kids got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not like it's a huge family. So for that side, it's not only my immediate like blood relatives, but it's also my extended family. So we used to have a lot of like holiday parties. Each year somebody else would host a different party. People would come down from Buffalo because that's where my mom is from, and we would like do these big gatherings. So I knew that side of my family very well. It's become disjointed lately as everybody starts to get older and they start to have more kids. It kind of gets harder when I'm not necessarily the baby anymore or the only child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my brother and sister haven't grown up with that kind of activity with their family, so they don't know them as well as I do. On my dad's side, I am not very close to any of them because that's not how they function. They function within their immediate family. They don't have a lot of like extended family.
Yeah.
My grandmother, that's 7 of them. And she has 2. All of her other siblings have more than 2 kids. So it's weird that it's the same like kind of they got with somebody but didn't kind of work out thing.
Yeah. I didn't know we were going into the grandparents.
Oh, I was
siblings.
Did you say that? You talked about but you didn't say how many.
I mean,
how
they
many
have
siblings.
My grandfather on my mom's side has, I think there's 4 of them. I think I know officially 3. I think there's 4 of them, including my grandfather. Don't know my grandfather on my dad's side. I didn't know he existed until he showed up. I don't know anything about my grandmother on my dad's side, but I did know my great grandparents. I did know her parents until they passed. And then my grandmom on my mom's side, she has a brother and a sister. And I also did know my great grandmother on her side because I lived with her. I lived with my great grandmother, my mom, and my 2 cousins.
That's a lot of women in one household.
That was until I was, that was from, I think, 2 to 6 or 7. Yeah.
A lot of estrogen.
How many? Well, that says a lot about me as a person, though.
Yeah.
And how I am with
it's generational.
Women and stuff.
A lot of generations.
And how I am with men.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. We gonna get into all that.
That later.
So I don't know my grandfather on my dad's side.
Me neither.
I've never met the man. I only know his name. And I mean, honestly, I don't really, it doesn't affect me.
It didn't because I didn't.
In any way.
It didn't until it came up. Until he showed up. And then you're like, wait a minute.
Hold on. How old am I?
You got a dad? But it's interesting how you're talking about the different aspects in which people are close. I feel like I really don't know on my dad's side. They seem pretty close knit. My dad, my grandmom, and my aunt, because they're all in North Carolina, and then my aunt has her family, and my uncle that's married to my aunt. They're all and his kids and their kids and stuff, and then my dad's brother is in a different state, but he'll come out every once in a while. So I know more about my mom's family, but I don't know a lot of things. Me and my mom talk about this a lot, how it seemed like my great-grandmother was the glue. And then after she was gone, people weren't as close. There's a lot of falling apart. Because I lived in an area where I had an aunt next door, cousin down the street. Not just like, oh, this is my friend, this is your cousin. Like actual cousins around the corner and stuff like that. So we were close. Yeah. And then at some point, it just kind of died out. It got weird, and people don't connect as much. And I don't know if it's because of with age, because as we get older, people, fall apart, or if it's because of the type of person I am, because I'm not as open, so that shut a lot of relationships out in my life. Or I do believe like my mom said, it's a little bit of the fact that my grandmom seemed kind of the glue to those relationships. And then once she was gone, they kind of fizzled out.
Yeah, because everybody is stemming from her.
Right.
I
mean, my great-grandmother. My grandma's
yes.
still around. My great-grandmother.
Yeah, I know.
My grandma.
Let me clarify
right.
for the universe. Hold on.
She is good.
Clarify for the universe. It's, I don't, that's the thing. Okay. So on my dad's side,
Mm-hmm.
it's very similar. It used to be a little bit closer. Like I've been to like at least 2 family reunions on that side.
Mm-hmm.
But my Aunt Betty passed away. So in her house, she used to have like pictures of everybody on the wall. And she could tell you the story for each picture that was on the wall. And she had photo albums like galore. She had recipes from great grandmas, from Aunt Betty Sue Lou, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then first, most of it got lost when they had to do a move because, the people be coming in and taking houses, but that's a whole nother thing. So some of that got lost, but then when she passed away, we realized ain't nobody write down no stories. You know what I'm saying? Nobody recorded all that information she had because she was the oldest.
Right.
And so it's very strange that our roots is storytelling, and our entire family gets lost because we're not telling these stories and passing them down. Like, I really don't know much beyond what I have seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
So then what do I tell my kids about their great grandparents?
I don't even, sometimes my mom be like, oh yeah, that's your cousin.
I'm sorry,
like, actually your cousin.
Great
I'd be like,
who this? From where? They're like, it's so-and-so's daughter. Who's so-and-so? You know what I mean? Like, it just goes so far and it's so deep, and there's so many lost artifacts. And things that can only be recovered from memory and word of mouth.
I think that's why I have such an interest. I don't know if it's the same for you. Why I have such an interest in other cultures. Because I love what they can bring to their family dynamic and their closeness and family and their sharing and stuff like that.
I it's similar. I love the idea that I am still connected by blood, by what's in my DNA. You know what I mean? Like, something in me is still processing like my ancestors because of what they went through and what's in their DNA. And so I like to look at other cultures because they've been able to preserve that.
Yeah.
To just like reflect on where I am and how that relates to what's in my ancestry.
Right.
But that's a valid point.
My grandfather's family, they're pretty, on my mom's side, they're pretty close, but I'm not close to them. It seems like they are. But that one is a result of the person or the child that I was. I think I shut a lot of those relationships down without realizing it. But also now it's kind of hard for me to get into it. Like, I don't have as much as an interest anymore because my grandfather's gone. So, yeah.
Same. I think I feel that way about certain parts of my dad's family. Like, if I didn't see them regularly when I was younger, now as an adult, I'm just kind of like, I know you're my family. And I know you're excited to see me because you knew me when I was a baby, but I have no idea of like who you are as a person. You know what I mean? I don't really have that.
I feel
connection.
like I'm trying to catch up because I was such a closed off child. I find myself a lot these days thinking about the relationships that I had growing up and wishing that I could have sustained those relationships. So, because I feel much more comfortable within myself and speaking out a little bit more, and oh God, because I feel much more comfortable in myself and speaking out a little bit more. Even, I mean, I'm just getting through on the surface when it comes to my family. But like, I find myself wanting to be more a part of it. But then the more that I find that, like, in different aspects of my family, there's some parts of my family where everybody else doesn't want that. Because nobody's close in that area of my family. It's like, it's really weird and complicated. But yeah. So we started to get on this. How has your family dynamic influenced your outlook on family? You kind of answered that.
I genuinely feel like it takes a village to raise a child.
Right.
And that there should be multiple influences in your life. And you should be able to look at somebody and say, this is my family. When I was younger, it made a really huge difference in how I felt about myself, especially because I was an only child, but I was never bored or lonely. I was always over somebody's house, or there was always an event for us to go to on the weekend, or so-and-so has this recital, we're going to go see her. Like, it was so close knit that I was never like confused on where I belonged, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which shifted drastically. But because I wasn't an adult at that time, I can't tell why it shifted or where exactly the shift started. But I like firmly believe that I, as an adult, need to cultivate great people around me like my mom did.
Yeah.
My dad has some really great friends, but you know, men are weird. They don't be hanging out. I don't know what they be doing. They be like, yo, this is my brother. Don't see them for 5 years. And then they get together and act like they've been together, you know, the every day. But I really have grown to love all of my aunts that aren't blood by any means.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even though I'm disjointed, well, I feel disjointed from certain members of my actual blood relatives, I am extremely close to my aunts that aren't related to me by blood, but they're my family. They're my family because I was with them every day, and they showed me that love as if I was their blood. Yeah, but it just really made a huge difference. And so I find myself looking for that in my life. Is that like genuine give back connection? I give, you give.
Yeah.
Because love, just period. You know, not because I want something from you, not because, oh, you did this for me, so I'm going to do that. No, because I can. Because love. That's what that community has shown me. Yeah.
I'm trying to get my mind right to explain, because mine's it's similar, but it's also very different. So I was kind of, I don't know where to start. I guess I'll start here. I always kind of feel like in all aspects of different relationships, I always feel like I'm on the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I was little, I spent a lot of time with my God family. For
Mm-hmm.
those who may not know what that is, you know, your parents pick godparents for you, and those are the people that take care of you if something were to happen to your parents. Um, so my godmom was like one of my mom's best friends, and then her husband, and her whole family, like her mom and her brothers and stuff. I spent a lot of time with them
Mm-hmm.
when I was like little because my mom was 21 when she had me, and she was working and she was going to school.
Mm-hmm.
She was doing a lot. And my grandmother, even though we were with my grandmother and my cousins and my great grandmother, they had their hands full
Mm-hmm.
because there was also my two cousins that they were taking care of. So I spent a lot of time with my God family. So like my godmother's mom, she was like a principal or something at one preschool, and then she was a teacher at another. So I was going back and forth between two preschools. I slept over their house a lot and stuff like that. Their church family, I spent a lot of time in that. And so they really were my family. And as I got older, the relationship changed and shifted because I wasn't with them as much.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had their own kids and their own grandchildren and their
Mm-hmm.
own children. So it was like I was always everybody's first child,
Mm.
and then they had their own.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it was like at some point that relationship kind of fizzled out.
Mm-hmm.
And then how you were talking about your aunts and stuff, because I had that too,
Mm-hmm.
because all my mom's friends had children at the same time. So when they would be hanging out, I'd be upstairs hanging out with all my cousins, you know?
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I was also a very standoffish child. I wasn't very like talkative or whatever. So I
Mm-hmm.
would be chill with my cousins, like still a little shy, but chill. But I didn't get super close to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think about them a lot now where it's like, damn, like there's so many relationships in my life that no longer exist because of how I was. And it really bothers me. And like going back to what I said at the beginning, in a lot of the relationships, I feel like I was on the outside looking in. And also in a lot of relationships, like with my God family, I was heavily like a part of it, and then I got pulled out of it. And I feel like a lot of those relationships I got pulled out of because I moved to New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't want to come to New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So if my mom wasn't trying, I mean, she did go up back to Pennsylvania a lot,
Yeah.
but if she wasn't trying to, I wasn't seeing those people.
Mm.
And then it got to a point where the only family I had was my mom and my stepdad. And then I think that's where I started to I started really getting used to what it felt to be alone
Mm-hmm.
and being comfortable with being lonely. But
Mm-hmm.
not like in an okay way where people are like, you know, you need to spend time with yourself and stuff like that. But like in a dangerous way
Mm-hmm.
where like, I don't know. That's where I started getting lost inside my head and stuff. And it'd be like, it's just me, myself, and I in this world. And I'm still struggling with that.
Do you think that at any point in that relationship it also becomes their responsibility to reach out?
Yeah, but yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. But it also goes both ways. I
Mm-hmm.
take full responsibility for the fact that a lot of people really did try
Mm-hmm.
to reach out to me,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't a person that was very accepting of that. because I didn't feel comfortable with a lot of people. I don't know why. I didn't talk to people.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything to say.
I mean, shit.
And I don't. And they just didn't like that. Like people would say I was like a nasty child because I didn't talk.
But that's. It is just so out of pocket to put your projections onto a child. Do you know what I'm saying? You're a child, regardless of if they want to talk to your funky ass or not. If the child don't want to talk to your funky ass, then the child don't want to talk to you.
And you also think about it in the sense of our community. We're both African American, so if I'm not talking to somebody, I'm getting yelled at. Like, say hi.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
And now I'm stressed.
Like
the fuck out.
browbeaten. Yeah, your child to talk to them.
But it's not like my mom was trying to have me
go say hi, go give somebody a hug.
She wasn't having me hug strangers. These are people I see all the time, but I just wasn't that person.
But it's about you are also a person. You also have feelings, and your feelings are valid, whether you're 3 or whether you're 33. You don't. It's really not right to put your projections onto a child. That child has not experienced what you have experienced. And children are often good judges of character. They can feel shit in a spirit, and when they don't feel it, they not feeling it. That just really took me somewhere. Why do we do that to our poor babies? Like, let them be babies. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I mean, but then it also goes to the like after a certain age, they're like, you're not a baby, you can speak. But they're still children.
Yeah.
And teenage. It's just, it wasn't the person I was. I don't know what it is, some psychological. But
you don't even have
I'm just not even that kind of person.
Yeah.
I'm just.
But the thing is that it really sucks that the experience has put you in a position where you feel like you have to apologize or feel bad about the kind of person you are. If that's who you are, then that's who you are. Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
And I understand what you're saying.
That it does go both ways. That's why some of the relationships aren't the way they were, because, you know, even friendships and stuff, people don't reach out. And we'll talk about that later. We'll get to that another day. So then they fizzle out. But what I'm saying for myself is I do take accountability for the fact that I wasn't the most open person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that, and we'll talk about this later, really seemed to get in the way of my relationship with my stepdad.
So what are your choices now? Like, now that you have examined your family dynamic and like,
well, now I've understood how fucked up my family is.
Yo, I just want to say
and
that.
It's so sad these past couple of years because, oh my gosh, like, so my friend Sydney, she like will talk about, go ahead and get that charger. I'm gonna continue. She'll talk about like, cause her mom was away in a different country working, and she'll talk about how she misses her mom and her mom's her best friend and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's not like that for me. And I would just talk to her about certain types of my family, and she'd be like, but Jada, that's sad. And I'd be like, is it? Is it? Because I'm just so used to it being that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was your question?
What were now that you
how am I handling it now?
Yeah, what are your choices?
One step at a time. I think for me, I have to take it person by person. So it's analyzing what that relationship was and why I feel it is the way it was, and accepting what it is that I might have done wrong, and if that other person is open to discussing and figuring out a way to fix that and going from there. It hasn't gone very far, but I can say, and we'll talk about that, I think the next episode when we get into parents, my relationship with my mom is doing some great things, and that's one of the most important. And that was it could have went really bad.
Yeah.
And yeah, just a person at a time is what I can do for now. And also being okay with the fact that, you know, even though I was okay with it before, not everybody's gonna fuck with you, even family. And you can't family ain't everything. It is not. You know, blood, all right, cool, but it's really for me about the people that you surround yourself with. And for me, it's a lot of chosen family. Because blood don't always got your back the way you think they should.
You ain't lying, friend.
That also runs out too.
You ain't lying, friend. I mean, I don't have any choices that I have made. I think it's been really hard for me because I was so used to the connections just happening. Like I said, it was every weekend, all the time. I was seeing so and so and so and so and so and so, and everybody's here. Ha ha ha. We're having a great time. I'm over this person's house. And then it just like stopped. So I don't know I am not a reacher outer. Okay. I have never been her. So I have actually made the choice to make sure that I call my grandparents. Because I realize that unfortunately there's a chance that they are the people that I will lose first. And whoa, what the hell?
What? You all right?
I'm not gonna cry. Why am I gonna cry? Them niggas is
It's okay.
is a living.
No, I understand.
But they really do like mean a lot to me. Like they old as hell, and they out here really like holding up an entire family unit. You know what I mean? Like they birthed all these niggas. And they have a lot of things to say that I think get lost sometimes in their senileness. But yeah, so I have made the choice to make sure that I actually reach out to my grandparents and try to decipher the things that they say, because sometimes it be coming out a little crooked. And I have also made the decision to not treat my brother and sister like they're my age. Damn.
It's okay.
I don't even know why I'm crying. They like, growing up, I'm 8 years older than them, but because they're so young, I found that I have just talked to them like they're my friends. Like, you know what I mean? But I'm 25. They're 17 and 15. Whoa, what's today? Oh, I thought I missed my sister's birthday. Okay. They're 17 and 15. So the way I see life and the way I have experienced life is not what they're currently going through.
Okay.
I have to really remember that they are in that stage that I was in, and still finding a good way to not be their mom. You know what I mean? It's been really hard for me to be a sister. I'm either friend and I'm talking to them like they 25, or I'm mom nagging. And so I've made the choice to be a sister and listen and be more open to the things that they have to say.
Yeah. We'll get into that when we talk about the siblings.
Yeah. So those are the choices I've made with my immediate family. I'm not really sure how to tackle my extended family, but I do know that my aunts are just as bad with staying in contact with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't
So
know.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not
anything
just
against you. It's
yeah,
just how they are.
it's just everybody. I don't know where it happened, how it fell apart. But I can definitely see the difference as somebody who grew up. I was in the middle as far as, who was born when. I'm 5 to 4 years younger than my older cousins, and then 7 to 8 years 7 to 8 years older than my younger cousins. So it's really hard for me to, I don't know, find my balance of where I'm supposed to be and how to understand that relationships and how. Okay, so that brings us to our final question. How do you present yourself in these relationships? How do you make them grow?
Now?
Yeah, now, currently in life.
I mean, I kind of said it before. There's a lot of healing that has to be done within my family. So for me, I've been doing a lot of reflecting on myself and growth within myself so that I can, well, not even just reflecting on myself, and we'll get into it more next week when we talk about parents and stuff. But like with my mom, for example, also understanding, because I am older now, understanding her as a full person rather than her as just mom and her as a human being. And then also when you were talking about your grandparents, it had me think about my grandfather, and we weren't close. He died a couple years ago, and that like really hit me. But I feel we were going back and forth when I was talking about me holding myself accountable in these relationships, and you were saying you don't necessarily need to apologize. But the reason why I feel like I need to is because specifically with that relationship, I didn't give him a chance to be the grandfather that he is because he wasn't what my idea of what I thought a grandfather should be. And those ideas came from outside resources such as TV. This may sound really stupid, but this is coming from a child's perspective. So, 90s kid over here, the Rugrats, watching Rugrats. I just wanted a grandfather who would sit there and tell me stories and fall asleep. And I never gave my grandfather the opportunity or like really paid attention to him as who he is as a grandfather or as a person because that wasn't a part of the deal. And I think I did that with a lot of people in my life. They weren't who I thought they should be. So I didn't give them a chance to be who they were. Where it's really weird, we'll also get into that when we talk about deeper parts of my family, because a lot of my issues where I had a hard time figuring out who I was because I wasn't given the chance to figure it out, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, we'll get deeper into it later. But yeah, that's where I'm at. It's a lot of reflection and owning up to what my end of the deal is and understanding where that person was coming from And then after that, it's that person's job to do the same. And from there, we decide where we go.
I really don't know how I present myself right now. I think that my family sees me as like different, like as if I'm an actual adult. I don't know how to explain it in other words, but it just feels like a lot of pressure.
Yes. I see that as well on the outside looking in. I see the pressure.
But a part of me wants to present myself as the little girl that they knew, that was much more sensitive and a little bit more shy, because I'm not an outgoing person. I've just developed myself to seem like I am so that it doesn't make other people feel uncomfortable.
I see the pressure both ways for you. I see the pressure put on you from the outside and from yourself.
Yeah, I'm just, and I don't think
there's
other
a lot
people
of leaning,
see
there's
the
a lot
pressure
of
that I put on
you.
myself.
There's a lot of leaning on you, but you allow it.
Yeah.
Past the point of what you actually should be taking, because you're the kind of person that feels like you need to
say yes.
Yeah. And you don't. You don't. Because I've seen it in other people. You need boundaries.
I don't got none. It's
you,
real sad.
You need them, and you need to. But, it takes time. But I see it. We're going to get it together. We're going to work on it. Because I'm not going to let you go down that road. It's not happening. Not on my watch.
Not on my watch. Yeah. So right now, I'm presenting as an actual adult who can do everything, who can ask me a question. I got it. What do you need? Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yep. An adult. A quote unquote adult. And that's not what I am. I'm really a child. I'm maturely immature.
So I don't know about the mature at all.
You are mature. To have the ability to talk to your mom and try to actually focus on healing because you know that there are damaged relationships, that takes maturity. Immature would just give the same energy back.
My whole life, I've been non-existent. I'm trying to learn how to be present in. We've said this before, last season too. Present in actual reality, because I haven't been. I do not understand how to live in the real world.
You're in fantasy and I'm in the future dreamer. You know what I mean?
My fantasy life, I be having a good time, let me tell you. And don't look too great out here.
Yeah. So I think that brings us to the end of our show. Let us know what you all feel about this episode. Give us feedback, your thoughts.
Yeah. And same question as last time, but specifically, how do you present yourself in your family relationships?
Yeah. Where do you stand? And just how has that influenced you in your life?
As a person. See any similarities, differences? Also, I be struggling out here, but I really do like to help people. I'm not saying I could, really make a difference. But the whole point of this is to be able to talk to each other and to have a community where you feel like you're able to talk. So if you do feel some kind of similarity or connection, That's the whole point of these questions, to reach out and we can talk about it. And maybe you can figure out what you need to do so that you can, present yourself in these relationships better if you want to. Or you could help us out. It's the whole point. Community.
All right,
but you gotta follow the Twitter to do that. Also, we got the Instagram. We just finished a photo shoot.
We cute.
Yes, you can see those pictures on Instagram.
Not on mine
yet. You
can
see the behind the scenes on YouTube.
Yes, and we will be posting
What is it called?
We Out Here Jay. It's Woj.
Yeah, Woj.
WOHJAY.
Yes, ma'am.
And we will be posting a little preview, a little clippity clip on our Instagram of our behind the scenes. So yes, follow us, talk to us.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for rocking with us. Google Play, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Check us out. And, we around. And we out here. Have a good day.
Peace.